A few years late, but still, why not? Gilroy is here to explain all of the Remnant from the Ashes bosses. 37 in total. There are videos out there depicting the main story of the game and all, but there is no talk about the smaller guys. Well, it is kind of a niche game in a niche genre. Well, not anymore. Before we start, we somehow crossed 300 subs while I was on a... let's just call it a hiatus. So let's get to 500 by next month, shall we? I promise this time I will be regular with my videos and ring that bell so that you can see me keep my promise. Evelyn Sidar, or the Root Mother, sacrifices herself to become one with the root hive mind to understand and thwart its power. She is imprisoned at the Church of the Harbinger and we are entrusted with her release. Evelyn's husband, Founder Fort, unwittingly obtains immortality by contacting the World Stone and seeks her to reverse this process. Her journals provide emotional glimpses into her life before the change, describing her early dreams, romance with Ford, and the slow deterioration of her humanity as she becomes intertwined with the root. Despite her ultimate corruption, Evelyn's acts demonstrate a strong desire to defend mankind. She escapes and joins the player in Ward 13, displaying a residual sense of self despite being fused with the rot. Also, the Church of Harbinger should be devoted to Harsgard, the true root Harbinger, but the lore of Harsgard, the Dreamer, and the root is saved for last. Gorefist, Shroud, the Mangler, and Reapide are all upgraded versions of standard root adversaries. While they lack individual mythology, they do provide insight about the root's overall physiology. A flashbar from Gorfist's body reveals that these root fleshes produce unsettling hums and incoherent whispers that make you feel hopeless and terrified. A root hollow seed obtained from the Mangler proves this. They smell like incense and human ashes. Splitters like Reapide are mostly responsible for Earth's devastation, since they can divide indefinitely and cannot die, unless you burn the ground. Also, these dungeon bosses' placements are fascinating, with shrouds hinting that a group of individuals begin to worship the root. Maybe Harsgard's followers? The Mangler's location might be an artery in the root system. The Leto guy on Reapide's site might have been Harsgard's quarker even. Of course, an opponent named the Root would have a tree boss. The Ant is capable of launching bombs, which have ravaged cities. This guy was one of the main attacking forces of the Root on Earth, but it abruptly halted its destruction and went back, never reaching the countryside. Perhaps because the region it is situated in right now is sacred to the Root. The Ant's twisted heart is stronger than most, and the petrified maul is made out of it, providing a terrifying reminder of the great struggle involved in defeating this dangerous opponent. Singe, another manifestation of the Root, is not the same as Clawbone, the dragon faced in Chronos. This pseudo-dragon of fire, a contradiction in terms, how is a Root being lighting fire, I don't know how, has been dormant in the depths of the deteriorating planet since the beginning. Its blazing heart still beats, producing searing heat and horrible rot. While its objectives are unknown, it serves as a disturbing reminder of the evils that lurk within the Root. The smolder item warns, the dragon's dead, but the Root's only getting started. Confusing, I know, but this dragon is definitely not Clawbone. The dragon links add to the confusion here. Harsgard also addresses Clawbone first. Clawbone now is inside the Dreamer. It's evident in Chronos, but I'm not going to make a video on it. It's a lovely game, but not worthy of a video. I'll simply briefly outline the bosses in the game here. All of the guardians are just golems. Only the Pan-Ziggurat Matriarch, the Red Widow, is unique, and the game's final boss is actually the Dreamer, the former Dreamer with whom the dragon's bonds have weakened, transforming the protagonist into the new Dreamer. Also, it's incredibly funny that this is the announcement trailer for Chronos. I have given the link below, go check that out and let me know your thoughts. The world is in turmoil, with men like Brabus resorting to violence. His brutal efficiency is demonstrated through sharpened shards and explosive shots, The Mud Dogs, once led by Mudtooth, report to his son Brabus now. Brabus, hardened by the world, seems to have lost the power of love, unlike Mudtooth, whose wife's pocket watch, initially intended for his son, is presented to the player, indicating a sense of sorrow and the potential loss of value in this terrible world. But when given the pocket watch, understanding his father's affection towards him and us, Brabus will not fight us, which is canon, as he returns as Remnant 2's security chief. The Undying King of Rhom is the most challenging and fascinating boss in the game. Rhom's story is intertwined with the story of Aslan the Undying King, a Nui who protected Rhome's guardian, granting him immortality. This world was divided into warring states. Aslan, a Bashar priest, united the warring nations, bringing peace and prosperity. However, a catastrophic 50-year battle with the Root led to the Undying King's use of a doomsday bomb to rescue his people. The world is slowly recovering and the threat from the Root looms again. The Undying King offers the player the Labyrinth Key in exchange for the Corsus Guardian's heart, revealing that Rhome's guardian is dying and its repair is crucial for defending against the Root's return. The Undying King may be restricting Rhome's population to reduce the Root's impact as the world recovers, by the way. Aslan used various technologies to extend his life, such as living circuits, biomechanical organs, and nanoflesh, and weaponized all of them. The Akari hesitated to fight Aslan openly after the nuke, indicating they were waiting for a worthy adversary to herald a new age. 4 Vir warriors guard the Undying King. These robots, also known as the Anointed, were designed to fight, survive, and free the Black Sun. The Black Tear, an ancient artifact, was used to shield the Anointed from threats. However, it proved ineffective against the Guare, or the Root, leading to the deviation. 2 strong Virs, Shade and Shatter, were created to defend the Black Tear. 1 Anointed evolved into the ancient construct, capable of summoning a turret. The Houndmaster's horn must be shattered to provoke Maul's hostility. The Pax Alpha was previously controlled by the Houndmaster through a control rod, the same control rod you used to awake the ancient construct. When the rod was shattered, the hounds were liberated and led to a revolt that killed the Houndmaster. The Hound Choker artifact suggests that the Anointed occasionally use hounds for hunting, likely using similar control mechanisms. The desert's intense radiation leads to Scourge. The mutant Buri tribesman displaying hive mind behavior represents the harsh realities of living in this radioactive wasteland. The Breath of the Desert ability serves as a reminder of the devastating force of radiation, reflecting the creature's adaptability to the harsh environment by turning into a hive mind. Surely just radioactivity in play here. This creature is a shard of the Black Sun. It is unclear what this Black Sun exactly is. This can either be the nuke or an actual sun. Reisum emits a constant unsettling hum even in the stillest moments. It's imperative to silence this shard before its eerie cries attract unwanted attention, as this creature possesses the chilling ability to summon a horde of grotesque wasteland skulls. Claviger is a title granted to those who possess the key to unlock forgotten powers, tied to the Black Sun. The loom of the Black Sun is the origin of the Spindle, a device of great importance to those seeking mastery over ancient forces. The Stone of the Guardian is a relic tied to a legendary guardian forged from the concentrated Black Sun dust, Kelher. Kelher played a role in the rise and fall of Rome. Before the Bashar rebellion, the people of the Bashar utilized Black Sun dust to forge powerful weapons. Particle accelerators were the result of an innovation by Odvar, the guy who created the Black Veil, who sought to use the Black Sun dust as a power source and projectile to amplify its destructive potential. And weapons like Whirlbaker, Cinderstorm and Rootbane were pivotal during the 50-year war with the Root. These weapons were thought to be lost. Another lost item is the Void Silver, a physical piece of the otherworldly force that transcends reality, a tangible connection to the power beyond the veil of the Black Sun. Yeah, none of these relate to the Claviger directly. It is only made of and uses the items I mentioned. Claviger is simply an automation which works as a keeper of the key to the Undying King's undying throne. The Harrow might also hold this key. It is a powerful and mutated entity, possibly named Calamorn, a legendary Bori warrior. Calamorn is known for his defeat at the Black Gate, where he used the Lost Harpoon to slay 20 Vir, feeding on the strength with each kill before ultimately falling. His desire was to stop Aslan, the Undying King, from triggering the nuke, and he obviously failed. This bunker kept Calamorn locked up, and he could not get out. The radiation or these creatures mutated his body, turned it into the Harrow. It drops the thermal geode, which represents the strength left behind by the fires that once ravaged the world. The heat that burned the land could not consume everything, leaving behind power and death in the form of these geodes. Ixilis the 15th and Ixilis the 16th are the guardians of Corsus, creatures that stand as protectors of the land, still unaffected by the Vixworm. These guardians' heart, I say plural but we only get one, it is a source of immense power, one that was never tested against the root before it fell. The heart still beats with energy, but it remains uncertain how long it will endure before the root returns. This heart can be either given to the Undying King or the Iskall Queen. The Iskall Queen is a charming, powerful and mysterious figure who appears in the native elves' village and recruits them into an ancient hive mind parasite powered by the Vixworm. The Queen asks us to trick the graveyard elf into consuming the parasite, marking the end of the elven race. Her destructive nature, similar to the root, is evident through various traits such as the Devastator and Glutton traits, Butcher's Flail and Empowering Loop. These parasites change the host to the point of mutating their DNA. As a result, these once blue elves have now turned into these winged creatures. The Vixworm's properties connects all places and beings, emphasizing the Iskall's belief in the interconnectedness of the all worlds. The Ring of the Unclean reflects the Iskall's rejection of technology, believing nature provides all the strength needed. The Iskall Hive is a force of unstoppable power, with the Guardian Tentacle lying dormant within its host remains, suggesting their ability to persist even after death. Cessnaya seeks the heart of the Corsus Guardian to further her aims of enslaving the entire Corsus planet and attempts to trick the player into helping her. Even if you kill the Queen, her cryptoid sigil still beats in an asymmetric yet unforgettable pattern, still warm and resonating with the life force it once shared. Her desire for domination over the world remains a constant threat. The Unclean One is a Corsus native who became a victim of the Vixworm. Once infected, he became part of the Iskall Hive. His mind and body slowly evolved beyond recognition. His unclean heart symbolizes the twisted nature of the infection, where the host's original form is consumed by the parasite. This adaptability and the power gained from it illustrates the dark path the Unclean One took, consumed by the parasite that now defines him. Also his literary shriek. Canker, a mysterious entity in Mire Hollow, resembles an egg carrier carrying parasites, like from Dark Souls 1. The swarm's rejection of foreign presence is reflected in the slime vessel it carries. The corrosive aura and catalyst trait highlight Canker's belief in self-made power. What I'm saying is, this is a cocky bastard. The Thrall has a deep connection with insects, allowing them to command these creatures. Despite this connection, Thrall remains a regular infected elf. The Needle Lair, a swamp in Corsus, is home to the Throne of Barbs, a symbol of the parasitic cycle of life and death. The Barbed Terror, a self-proclaimed king of barb stalkers, represents the unrelenting cycle of death and struggle in Corsus. Legends suggest the Terror ascended to kingship through domination or rebirth from the swamp itself. Its existence is one of the perpetual regeneration, with wounds sprouting deadly unstable quills. The Terror's presence in Corsus marks a turning point, solidifying its reign by driving out lesser foes and filling a power vacuum. The Dream Eater, a mysterious being in the Hall of Whispers, is an anomaly in the swamp's natural grotesqueries. Its true nature is unclear, but its use of husks suggests a connection to the Iskall Queen. Its abilities, such as mastering reefs, shows that it exists between dimensions, feasting on thoughts, dreams, and fears and shit. This actually might be of another race, like making an enemy out of the Vic Swarm. The Pan Priesthood, a group of slow-moving, moderately damaging members, possess powerful electrical energy stored in storm crystals. The Stormcaller, the most advanced of the Pan Priests, can summon electric charges that polarize targets and even summon thunderstorms. These powerful spells can be combined with lightning charges, electric blasts, and lightning bolts, making for a challenging and dramatic encounter. This Stormcaller in particular might be a heretic. The Pan Spearman, a powerful and aggressive enemy in the Pan biome, is tall and powerful with twin fighting spears. The Keen Caller, the captains of the Spearman cadre, is the biggest, toughest, and the most intelligent warrior rank. They prefer to remain behind the front line and can summon Pan reinforcements from deep inside the jungle. This Keen Caller is the warden of a Pan jail and may give out trials to criminals as punishments. The Blink Thief is a fun and unique encounter, but absolutely zero lore. He throws javelins and is a Blink Fiend, but a weaker one. This Blink Thief tries to run away with the Ricochet rifle. Onslaught is most similar to Blink Fiends. The Ahene discovered the secrets of this world, that it truly is connected. All things and everything. Even fallen leaves and branches retain their bonds to Yaesha. Understanding this connection enables these Blink Fiends to blink, and Onslaught is just the most powerful of them. Seer, a flying Rhin, is a Zephyr subspecies of the Rhin, a highly intelligent and loyal race subjugated by the Pan. The Zephyr uses their bolus, an entangling weapon, to target and assassinate nobility, causing devastating burns and death. Scald, on the other hand, is just a boring Pan herbalist who can fire shit. Also, Scald might be a preacher. The Ravager, the oldest being in Yaesha, is slumbering in the Tempest Court, now known as the Ravager's Haunt. This black wolf, whose age predates even the Pan, claims to have witnessed the rise and fall of countless epochs and is entwined with the life force of the jungle. The Pan's priests foresaw the Ravager in visions long before his arrival, but suppressed the darker half of the prophecy. When the Ravager emerged, the denial nearly cost them their lives. The Pan learned to appease it with the blood offerings by the Tree of Lives. Death marked the fulfillment of the ancient vision. The Ravager is both a predator and a remnant of Yaesha's primal power. Though temporarily dormant, the Ravager is far from defeated. The jungle's heartbeat echoes through its existence, and its return in the sequel, while allying with the Root, signals the final fulfillment of the prophecy. Totem Father has an interesting mechanic but has zero lore. The Totem Father, a mysterious figure within the Tempest Court, is a guardian of Yaesha's untamed wilderness. The Totem Father's command of Yaesha's primal energies suggests that it is a manifestation of the jungle's will, wielding ancient power that predates the Pan. Despite its unclear motives, the Totem Father stands as a formidable protector of the jungle's secrets, and those who face it must contend with its immense strength and the unyielding judgment of Yaesha. Root Horror. It is just a scout sent by the Root. The Root Horror's presence reflects Yaesha's struggle against annihilation and its silent arrival. The Crimson Hold is home to Brudvak, the rider, and his warg, Vargr, who embody the brutal resilience of the Uriki. Brudvak, equipped with the Chain Blade, dominates the battlefield, while Vargr's raw power reinforces their terrifying synergy. The Steel of Agony reflects their ruthless creed, which thrives in the suffering of their foes. The Uriki, giant wall-like creatures, have become the dominant force on this world due to their strength and ferocity. They descended from the Emin, who still exist in networks of tunnels called Warrens. Majir, the first and greatest of the Uriki, swore a blood oath to his dying mother, promising that the Emin would pay for their misdeeds. Brudvak is just a random warlord, nothing special about him. He's just in the area. I'm not being racist here, but this race is kinda shit, and the final boss is equally shittier. Now let's quickly go through the dungeon bosses of Reisum. They kinda are empty as well. Tian, the assassin, perfected the art of death within the Valenhag mines, embodying the craft of ruthless precision with a fan of knives. Obrig, the shield warden, stands as an immovable force in the exile's trench, mastering the icy power of the frozen mist to slow down even the mighty Virgil, earning him the title Howl of the Hunt. Ikro, the Ice Conjurer, commands the elemental fury of Reisum's eternal frost in the Wuthering Keep, embodying the relentless, unforgiving nature of their frozen homeland. The glacial scepter reveals that the Kral do not create the cold, they channel it as children of the icy realm. In the bloodstained den of the Jackal, Urford the Jackal carved a legacy of slaughter, slaughtering hundreds of Uriki, from battle-hardened Harls to Arunan Medium. Urford's brutality is etched in the shards of the Jackal's ivory, showcasing the brutality of the Kral and the relentless pursuit of their enemies. The Dreamer is the protagonist of Chronos Before the Ashes. Long story short, he was gaslighted by Clawbone, the root dragon, the personification of the root, or in this case, the dragonification of the root. Killed other planets' guardians in his command to make them susceptible to a root invasion. He was slaughtering guardians at the pace that he came to be known as the Devourer by the Keeper of the Labyrinth. The protagonist understood their fault finally and tried to finish Clawbone, or specifically the previous Dreamer, through whom Clawbone was communicating. Clawbone took this chance to abandon the previous Dreamer, with whom his link had weakened, and possesses this protagonist, turning him into this new Dreamer. Now through this new Dreamer, the protagonist of Chronos invades Earth in Remnant. So we go to kill him. Nightmare, the second phase of the Dreamer, is the manifestation of the Root's ultimate plan to corrupt Earth and the Labyrinth. The Orb of Undoing represents the Root's ability to erase identities and memories, while the Mind's Eye trait reflects the tragic fate of the Dreamers, captives to the Root who could not stop the destruction. The Dreamer's mana speaks to the deeper, older powers that once walled off Earth from the Root, suggesting that the Dreamers were doors leading to the Root's invasion. Nightmare's Spell captures the torment of being trapped in an endless cycle of horror where stopping means certain death. As the rootified version of the Dreamer, Nightmare symbolizes the Root's corruption and the tragic fall from grace. In the 1960s, the US military discovered a large alien stone with symbols and runes written in another language. Dr. Ulrich Herzgard led a team of researchers to translate these runes, which revealed the World Stone could enable humans to travel to other worlds and create dreamers, humans bonded with powerful entities in these other worlds. The military set up a facility called Ward Prime, where they began experiments involving the World Stone and human subjects called dreamers. Dr. Herzgard took on the role of lead researcher on the Dreamer project at Ward Prime, finding codes that could be used to connect the dreamers to other worlds. Although the initial Dreamer experiments ended in tragedy, Dr. Herzgard continued pushing his teams to move forward with the research. After months of around-the-clock experiments, they finally made a stable connection to another world using a Dreamer. Herzgard's understanding of a runic system found on Earth made the Dreamers possible. His reading of the runes led him to identify the Clawbone entity, which he developed an obsession with. He conducted most of the experiments on the words to find a way to connect a Dreamer directly to Clawbone, who he thought was almost a god, capable of solving all the world's problems. Herzgard sided with the Root to infect all of Earth and abducted the protagonist from Chronos Before the Ashes, setting the events of Remnant in action. After the protagonist of Chronos is defeated, Herzgard chooses Clementine, a world worker, as the new Dreamer, but we arrive to defeat Herzgard as well. And that is it. Look forward to the Remnant 2 video, and play Remnant if you haven't, and try to play with friends.